Very good afternoon to all my dear students. Today we are starting with our next lecture, that is Morphology of Flowers, Calyx. This is Dr. Rajendra Shevde, HOD, Department of Botany, Arts, Commerce and Science College, Landa. This is the first chapter of Morphology of Flowers, Calyx. Let's start with the lecture. What is the definition of calyx? Calyx is the sterile outermost whorl that originates directly upward the stem and encloses the petals along with other floral parts inside. So simply we can say calyx is the sterile outermost whorl. That means it is one of the outermost whorl which includes all other whorls like corolla, androecium and gynoecium inside it. It covers all other floral parts and it originates directly upwards the stem. It can be simply said that it is the origin of extension of pedicel. So this is the definition that calyx is the sterile outermost whorl that originates directly upward the stem and encloses the petals along with other floral parts inside. Here we can see in the picture where exactly the calyx is there, then color part which is called as the floral bud. Sometimes below the calyx their leafy structures are available or arises. They are called as epicalyx. It is distinctively referred to as sepal. Now the member of the calyx is called as sepal. During bud formation, the sepal remains intact, protecting the bud till it attains maturity. Once the bud blooms into a flower, then the whorl of calyx extends from the flower base. That means during the initial stage, the corolla or the petals and other floral members like androecium and gynoecium, they are been enclosed inside the calyx. But in the due course of the development of the flower, when the petals emerges out, then the calyx is still there, but it shows that it is present at the base of the flower. So next slide you can see what are the general characteristic features of the calyx. So there are 9 characteristic features of the calyx. The first one, it is the lowermost axillary whorl. When we use the word axillary, that means it is originated from an axis. Of course, in case of the green plant, axis is the same, pedicel is the extension, and that extension is again accessory, and through that axis the calyx emerges. So epicalyx is another structure which develops from the base of calyx as a whorl of branches in the few flowers. So epicalyx is another structure which can be called as the extension of the whorl. Of course, it has a leafy structure. It looks like calyx, but it's not a true calyx. As it is below the original calyx, it is called as epicalyx. The sepals are usually green and leaf-like. It's a very common structure, common feature. It is quite thick, hardy than the leaves, but shows vein and consists of stomata like in ordinary leaves. As it too possesses the green color, of course it contains the stomata also, as it plays an important role in transpiration. And also it shows veins, that means supply of water, food minerals, etc. The calyx can be free or fused in origin. If the calyx is free, then it is called as episepalous or if it is fused, then it is called as gamocephalous. So, polycephalous and gamocephalous. If it is free, it is polycephalous. If it is fused, then it is gamocephalous. In the fused calyx, sepals form a calyx tube when the fusion occurs towards the base, and the remaining free portion refers as calyx limb. When the sepals appears like petals, they are called as tepals. It is the fusion of the word petals and sepals. So it is also called as tepals. A group of sepals sometimes undergoes modification, where it develops several appendages depending upon the environmental adaptation. In the majority of plants, sepals drops off as the flower blooms, but in few it remains intact till the petals falls off, and in few remains intact permanently with the fruit. The best example is brinjal. So these are the general character features of the calyx. Now, types of calyx. Calyx has been classified depending upon the following factors. Those factors are 5 factors. The first one is called as size, structure, fusion, modification, loss, and persistence. These 5 characters or 5 factors classify calyx in their respective types. The table which is shown here shows that every factor is again classified into 2 or 3 or sometimes 6 types. Considering first, it is size, if they are regular or they are irregular. In case of structure, depending upon the structure, they are divided into 6: tubular, urceolate, capulate, infundibuliform, campanulate, bilabiate. If they are fused, then fused. If they are free, then free. Then modification. If they are modified, there are 4 types: pappus, spurred, petaloid, spinose. If they last during the developmental stages, or if they still persist at the end of development, they are 3 types: cordus, deciduous, and persistent. So let's go through each type of modification or types of calyx. So depending upon the size of the calyx, it is divided into 2. There are 2 types: regular and irregular. If it is regular, the sepals of the calyx exhibits the same size, that is, as in China rose. That means every sepal has same size. If irregular, the sepals exhibit different size. That is in Clitoria. That means the size of every sepal of calyx is different. Depending upon the structure of the calyx, they are divided into 6 types. The first one, it is tubular. The sepals appears tube-like in Nicotiana. That means they are fused to form a tube-like structure. Infundibuliform, calyx resembles funnel shape, like in Atropa belladonna, or another example is Datura. That structure is called as infundibuliform, where the structure of the calyx is funnel shape. Urceolate, the sepals appears as urn shape, like Hyoscyamus. Bilabiate, it consists of two leaves, as in ocimum or salvia. That means they are showing a structure having two leaves. Campanulate. Calyx resembles a bell shape. It looks like a bell. That is in Lathyrus odoratus. That structure is called as campanulate. And copulate, the calyx appears like a cup, as in Gossypium. Gossypium is common called as cotton. Next, we can see the structures. There are 6 structures: tubular, infundiculiform, uvulate, bilabiate, campanulate, and copulate. Let's see the next structure. More types of calyx. Depending upon the fusion of the sepals, they are free or fused. In this type, the sepals are fused. For example, is Datura or hibiscus. They are called as gamosepalous. In polycepalous, in this type, sepals are free. Example is Annona, tomato. Here we can see clearly the hibiscus flower on the left side shows that green color calyx are united and called as gamosepalous. Whereas in case of rose, that is on the right side, that is polycepalous, sepals are free. Then next is depending upon the loss or persistent of the calyx. Again they are divided into these much parts, that cordus, deciduous. If they are persistent, then are again two types. So cordus, in this type, sepals fall down as the flowers blooms, like in poppy plant. That means the other parts than calyx, when emerges out, the calyx fall out. Then deciduous, in this type, sepals fall down along with the petals after its fertilization, as in mustard plant. That means during the course of blooming of the flower, calyx still remain there, petals still remain there, but as the fertilization occurs, the calyx along with the petals fall down. Then persistent. In this kind, the sepals remains intact with the fruits, like in brinjal, chilies. It further categorized into two groups. Persistent, when the persistent calyx acquires shriveled appearance and shows no growth after fertilization, then it is termed as persistent calyx. Example is guava. Okay, so after fertilization it do not show any growth, so it is called as a persistent. Whereas acrescent, in this type, the persistent calyx simultaneously grows in size with the increasing size of the fruit even after fertilization and turn as acrescent calyx. Example is physalis. So let's see what are the diagrams are. Cordus also there, decit is also there. Persistent, best example is that is brinjal. Then persistent, where the structure, that fruit is shown, that is tomato, and in acrescent, that fruit is shown is physalis fruit. So next is depending upon the color of the sepals. They are again classified. They are classified into sepaloid and petaloid. In this, the sepals are green in color, means the calyx color is green as it is original, then it is called as sepaloid. But sometimes it is called as petaloid, where the sepals are non-green or colorful like petals. Example is mirabilis, Mirabilis chalapa. So there are two types of calyx depending upon the color, sepaloid and petaloid. As sepaloid, they look like sepaloid, but sometimes they look like petals, petaloid. So here we can see sepaloid one, as it's very common, whereas petaloid you can see in mirabilis, their color is of the petals. Next type, depending upon the calyx, that is modification. What are those types? The structure of the calyx modifies into various appendages and categorized into the following types. What are those following types are? Pappus, spurred, petaloid, hooded, and spinose. Here, the sepals transform into feather-like or hairy structure. Example is sunflower. So those sepals or those calyx is called as pappus. Whereas in some cases the sepals transform into a beak-like structure, that is delphinium. Then it is called as spurred. In some cases the sepals sometimes becomes enlarged and appears brightly colored like petals. So they are called as petaloid. The best example is Musenda, or we commonly call it as Shravda, hooded. Here one of the sepals extends and transforms into a hood-like structure over the flower. Aconitum is one of the best example. Lastly, spinose. In this kind, the sepals modify into spines that is in trappa. It means the hooded means there is a formation of hood-like structure, and that actually covers the whole flower. So in case of aconitum, it appears that it looks like petals or it looks like a hard cover, and that's why it is called as a hooded. It looks like hood. In case of spinose, the calyx is modified into a structure which looks like spines, and they are actually spines. When you try to touch the flower, it itches you. So it's in trappa. So let's see what are the pictures of that. So pappus, we can simply see how they are feathery, spur, then petaloids in case of the Musenda. Hooded, we can see there is a kind of a hood which is present above the flower, and in spinose you can see the spines are emerges, they are modified into spine. This is all types of the calyx. Finally, we can conclude that therefore the calyx is a group of sepals that functions as an outermost wall that harbors the flower from its budding phase to the blooming or flowering stage against harsh environmental conditions, desiccation, and sometimes modified to perform special tasks. So, calyx plays an important role. It has a very particular function as being an outermost wall. It actually protects flower from the initial stage to the blooming stage, and even it protect the flower or inner part of the flowers like petals and rhizome gynoecium from harsh environmental conditions, sometimes desiccation, the loss of water, and sometimes it modified even after the fructification, developmental stages of fruit. It plays important role as a special task. So this is all about the calyx. Hope this will help you out to understand calyx and its types in details. If you have any queries, please do contact me on our group. If you have any questions, if you have any suggestions, please do post it on our group. After completion of this calyx, we will move towards the corolla, that is the next wall member, and in that we will study the different types of corolla, modifications of corolla, and function of corolla. So with this I conclude here for the morphology of flower with special emphasis on calyx. Thank you so much and all the best. Thank you.